All right. We're just going to start putting a few things back together. Move our notebook because we don't need that anymore. Oh, just mop there. Hey, Red Duck, what's up? Hey, Maddie. Just gonna put the radiator and air box and stuff back together. Good, how you doing, man? I'm pretty tired. I'm just gonna put a few things back together on the bike and get it set up for doing the throttle body sync, which I will show that probably not tonight, probably another night. I will show doing the throttle body sync. But for right now, I'm gonna start putting a couple of things back together and show hooking up the throttle body sync. Yeah, it's been a long day. I didn't sleep very well last night. So I'm trying to do just a little bit and then get out of here. So got this shield here. And I forgot how this damn thing goes back in. It goes up there. And then I have the horn wires coming down. I've got this watt hose here for the radiator. That is so gonna stay. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's see if I can make it stay. Let's just, oh, does that stay there? Sure. That's probably gonna fall. No, it looks like it's staying there. All right, so I'm just gonna see if I can remember how this friggin' piece goes back in here. It goes up here like this, and then it pops into these two holes. A hole right there, and a hole on the other side. Go. This bracket right here. This should hold. Should go like that. Yeah, it goes like that. Get that in there, and then I gotta remember how the horn goes. Just threw that down there. Maybe I should close out the live stream. I don't know. I got. This is really just putting some menial pieces back together. I don't know if this is worth live streaming. I'm really just putting the radiator and shit back in. So I'm happy I got news. I will wait though. Hey, Gopher Chucks. Yeah, I'm just debating if I guess Maddie wants me to keep the live stream up, so I'll keep the live stream up for her. I'm just putting menial stuff back together on the bike right now. So I guess I'll just put the camera right there like that. Check the chat every now and then. Yeah, I'm hoping I should be able to have this back together in a couple minutes. It shouldn't take that long. And then maybe I can show, I'm not going to do the throttle body sync, but I can show hooking everything up for it. And then probably another night I'll do the throttle body sync. Just because I gotta bleed the cooling system out and get it warmed up and all that. So I'll probably just do me putting this back together tonight, and then do a dedicated stream for bleeding the cooling system and syncing the throttle bodies. Let's see, shoot. Goat was just live and I missed it, but at least I have it. Oh, did Goat already close out his live? Usually he starts like at 10, so maybe he was doing an early one or something. I don't know. Oh, this is kind of a bitch getting this thing back on. Let's see. A spontaneous live video review. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe he's trying to do those pursuit video analysis, which I actually really like those. So I think that would be a good thing for him to do, and then clip the videos because he does a really good analysis of pursuits. Just hooking up oh my gosh, the oil pressure sensor wire right now. I can get it in just because the way I have this connector rigged up is kind of a pain in the ass to get it. I had an oil pressure switch from a Nissan down here, and it had like its own dedicated connector and everything. Maybe I should have left that one on there. This one's got the screw terminal. It's a pain in the ass, but we already got it set up like that, so that's how it's going to stay. Okay. What's up, guys? Yeah, Goat's really good at analyzing the pursuits. He knows a lot about riding. All right, so that's the horn. All right, let's go grab the radiator now. Okay. Got the and that thing friggin' leaks out coolant every time I move it. I gotta get some towels real quick. Gosh. I have to go stick this on my red cart because if it's gonna make a mess. Is it a 636? No, it is it's a ZX6R, but it's a 599. All right. Got the radiator. We got our little foam blocks that are completely deteriorated after 18 years, but I'm going to put them back in anyway. So these little foam blocks, yeah, completely falling apart. It's a 2007, so they went back to the 599 for several years, and then they went to the 636. I can't quite remember how these foam blocks go in here. They go in here something like this, but they're completely and totally just shot. So that's it. I don't think it really matters at this point. I might as well just leave these out. But out of my sense of OCD, I'm gonna stick it back in there just because it does block. It does block a little bit of air passage somewhat. So I guess I'll jam it down. I guess I'll jam it down right like that. I guess that'll go in there like that. Probably not gonna stay. And this one goes over here. Like so. Yeah, it just, I don't. No, there we go. That's how that one goes. Okay. Oh, and this was the oil catch for the air box. I'm just going to rip that thing out because I'm going to block off that port on the air box. So I'm tired of fucking with this thing. It was broken, and then like I made my own little bottle at the bottom of it out of some spare parts from work. And nothing ever accumulates down there. It's supposed to catch oil from the air box, but it never catches anything, and it's always in the way, so it's got to go. All right, and then I got to block off that port on the air box when I put that back on. And just going to show this real quick. The Hylomar, the sealant. So let me get a small screwdriver to show y'all. See how it's kind of like still, I mean, it's dry, but it's kind of tacky. That's why you want to use this stuff. That's why it's so expensive, because it seals oil, but it's very easy to clean. So that's why I'm going to use it in areas like this where you're going to go back in for service later. Okay, so now we're going to put the radiator back in, and I got to grab the bolts for it, which those are right here. Yes. Okay. Like this. Can y'all see this? Yeah, y'all can see. And I was supposed to have another little insert there, but I don't know where that insert went. You always want to have your metal inserts on these rubber pieces, like radiator bushings. You see that? Because if you don't, the bolts just completely squash the rubber down and destroy it. See, this one down here is missing one. Or is it? No, it's right there on that bolt. There we go. Well, it wasn't missing. I was about to have to dig through my drawer and find one. Okay. So now we're just gonna set the radiator back up in here. Bolts to the frame up here. And that's the horn connector. No? What did that go to? I don't know, but the other connector's right here. There's the other connector for that. Okay. So that's for that. That's for that. not a lot of space here. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bottom bolt in first because these upper ones are kind of being a pain. So that's what I'm going to do. These radiators are expensive, so I'm trying not to break it. I think this is the original radiator for this bike too. Makes me wonder how much longer it has left. But the tanks on it are soldered and there's no plastic, so it should last quite a while. Although I just had a buddy's bike, it was 2015 636, and the radiator blew on it, and they told me that they thought they hit a rock on the highway. And I was checking it when I got it here, and it was just the solder at the tank was leaking. So, you know, that can still happen. I'm going to try to get the other side in first because this one's being a bitch. That one went in. There we go. A little tap with the impact. Doesn't need to be too tight. Here, and these little metal brackets like that to hold stuff. I like to kind of hold them if you're gonna hit them with an impact, because they'll tend to vibrate and move. Okay. We got a hose right here. Actually, I'm going to run the wire brush on those nipples and clean them up before I put the hoses on. Do y'all even like me narrating as I'm working? Is that helpful? Is it entertaining? Up a little bit. And actually, I had a tub of petroleum gel. Oh, there, it's over here. Thanks, Dean. Ooh. Maddie likes narration. Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep doing it. Dean likes it too. So these old hoses and stuff, these rubber, and even new rubber, it helps if you put a little bit of Vaseline or silicone grease. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot. It helps the rubber slide on, and it helps it seat better. So, especially with the older rubber, I like to do that. Hose clamp there. Make sure that hose is routed and not pinched. Got it routed, and it is not pinched. That runs right along there. Okay, something's on. Now we're going to do this hose right here. That one on. And if you're reusing your old hoses, which I am, the rubber is going to be kind of molded, so you'll feel it when it goes on, go on, and you'll feel it kind of pop, like lock into place, and then put it there. And then your clamp, you want to put it roughly in the position it was, because it's going to have dug into the rubber already and kind of made its own little groove. So it's best to put it back in that groove, and then tighten it down good, but not, you don't want to over tighten it enough to seal it. Okay, I'll reconnect this connector here, whatever that goes to. Not exactly sure what that goes to, but it goes to something important. So, okay, I reconnected there. It's all the fuse box and stuff. Oh, that goes to the radiator fan. So yes, that is important. I'm gonna grab a horn real quick. There's a horn, and I think it goes. It actually mounts right on. Yeah, the one of the radiator bolts. So I got to take that radiator bolt back out. And put the horn over it. And be careful when if you're just using a drill or impact to find the threads. That's kind of an advanced technique, as Goat would say. Really is recommended to start the bolts by hand. Kind of gotta know what it feels like when you got the threads started, or when you got them cross-threaded, especially if you're bolting one piece over another like that. Make sure. Go. Make sure the horn's not touching the radiator. And I'm actually gonna have to route these horn wires over to the other side, it looks like, because that's where the connectors are for it. So I'm gonna shove these wires through here. Yeah, Maddie was really good as the camera girl. These horn wires are just a regular female blade terminal, nothing special. And this horn wire routing is kind of weird in here, so it wraps up at the front and then goes back over, but I don't know that I really like that, so I think I'm going to reroute horn wire to just right there, because that doesn't really make sense the way that was. And I've got one more connector I got to connect up in here. So let's see. It's 5mm Allen, and it goes to the cam position sensor. And it's got a bolt that bolts it in place. So. And then I really don't like that the pair valve is just kind of chilling out up in here. not really my favorite thing because I guess that didn't get deleted with the tune. I mean, they did delete the pair valve system, but it has to be plugged in to not set the FI light. So that kind of sucks. On my Gixxer, when they tuned it, they completely deleted it. So the pair valve, you can just unplug it, take it out. So I don't know what's up with that, but I got to shove it back up under here. Just let it be in the way continuously forever. Which that's fun. This stupid thing. It's just gonna sit there, I guess. Find its home. Sit there against that. Sit there against that windshield. And well, I appreciate that, guys. I don't pretend to know everything, but I do know a thing or two. Yeah, I haven't rode the you rode the 636 and 599. The difference is not noticeable. 10% seems crazy to hear considering how they feel like exactly the same bike. I haven't had a chance to ride a 636 yet. It got super cold, and my buddy wanted to come get that 636 after I did the radiator, and I didn't have a chance to go take it for a ride. So we got everything hooked up here. This is the pair valve. It's just gonna chill out there, and everything's hooked up there. Wiring harness is kind of tucked like that, and this is the map sensor and the intake air temp sensor that clips onto the airbox. Secondary fuel injector connectors. Yeah, and of course I got to put the fuel tank and the airbox on. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put that stuff there. Take a look at the airbox and clamp off that one hose. You're the love of my life too, Maddie. Is it this one? Yes, it's this one. Where that hose to drain the oil out comes from. You can see I got a couple of other ones clamped off that were deleted. And I should just have a rubber nipple somewhere for it that I could just throw on there. So let's take a look through my stash over here. That's not going to stay there. Right there. Here's my collection of rubber pieces. Hose connectors, T connectors, and stuff like that. And one. I want to take the really good ones. There we go. And about that size. Ooh. And we'll just go on. If I can do it one-handed, here we go, just like so. And for good measure, I'm going to put a zip tie around it. Take one of these small zip ties here. more zip ties elsewhere. Oh, almost fell. Done. All right, clip it off. Always clip your zip ties off. Drives me fucking mad when I see go underneath a car and there's a billion unclipped zip ties. Drives me absolutely insane. All right, so there's the air box. We're not gonna put that back in yet. I'm just gonna stick it back over here, but we got it ready. What I am gonna show you is setting up for the vacuum. What am I trying to say? Throttle body sync with the vacuum. And I don't think I need to. I don't need to lower the lift down. That's going to be a whole process anyway because that seal leaks on it and sometimes it takes a while. Got a billion cans of chemicals under here. Now, this tool, you have digital ones and you have manual ones. My buddy bought the nice digital one for like $200, and because I work on his bike and I don't really charge him anything, he was nice enough to let me keep it here. It's still his, but he lets me keep it here and use it because next time it's going to be used, it's going to be on his bike anyway. And let me open this real quick because I think it has a piece of paper with his name in there. So I'm going to remove that real quick before I show you all what's in here. All right. Come on. Okay. It's your tool. It's your hoses. So what you want to do, I got carb bikes I need to sync ASAP. Yes. So this is going to be the same process with, what the fuck does this go to? Okay, never mind. Sorry. I got distracted. This is going to be the same process, I believe, for a carb bike or a throttle body bike. But you can get the manual ones, the manual gauges, or you can make your own. Like I said, my buddy just happened to buy this and he keeps it here because next time his bike is going to be synced. It was here anyway. Okay. Let's see. But anyway, there's 4 hoses, and each hose is going to be connected to, there's going to be a port. There you go. These right here. There's one on each throttle body. See them there? So you're going to take those off, and then you're going to connect the hoses. And it's on this one, it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you're going to start the engine up, and the adjusters. These, they're kind of buried on this bike, but let me get my flashlight and see if I can show you where they're. I'll just use the flashlight on this. If I can show you where it's at. Okay. Okay. Let me get a screwdriver to point to it. This is what it's going to look like. It's going to be this flathead adjuster right in there. Each throttle body has their own. I believe they're both together on either side. So, yeah, there you go. There's a good view. There's the one right there for the number 2, and then the number 1. And there you can see them both together. When you thread them out, which is unscrewing them left, that decreases the amount of vacuum pull. And when you thread it in, that increases the amount of vacuum pull. I've looked up specs on what the vacuum pull should be, and I get different results for everything. But basically what I figured out is you want to start it up and get them to a baseline, see where they're at, and then you don't want to adjust anything too far. You just want to adjust them so they're about even. And it's more important to get 1 and 2 sync together and 3 and 4 sync together than to worry about the difference between these two, if that makes sense. So if you have these at 30 and these at 40, that's better than having these two at 30 and the outer two at 40, or worrying about the difference between these two. If you can't get them all synced together, which on this bike, the 0708 ZX6R, it's a design flaw, something, I don't know. It has a weird issue with the on-off throttle. When you're barely cracking it open, it acts like an on-off switch sometimes. It doesn't want to be smooth. And that's a problem particular to this bike. I've found a lot of complaints about it online, and I've tried everything, adjusting the throttle position sensors. I can't get it. But the thing that seems to make it the best is syncing the throttle bodies. And they're very difficult on this bike, this particular 0708 ZX6R, to get. Yes, Dean, it's very lurchy. To get these synced up. On my buddy's Gixxer and his R6 when he had it, I fired those up and I didn't even have to adjust them. They were all sitting like right at 50. And then these, they'll jump around and you'll fuck with it a lot. But you want to get the engine warmed up. You want to let the engine warm up, get hot, and then do the sync. So I'm not going to show the actual doing the syncing here. I will do it, but it's probably not as important as me explaining this right now. Now, on most throttle bodies, you will sync 1 and 2 together, 3 and 4 together, and then there will be a center screw that looks like those that will sync the 2 banks together. So let's say they're way out of spec, but the closest you can get them is getting these to 30 and getting these to 40. That's just an example. You will do that, get these matching, and then your center screw, you will adjust it until the 2 banks are even. And then let's say they even out to 35. But this bike does not have a center screw, and I feel like that is part of the problem. Unless it does, and I've just been overlooking it all this time, because I wonder if what I'm looking at right here is that. I wonder if that right there is it. I'm not going to immediately assume. I'm going to look at this further and see if that's the case. But I'll go ahead and get these hooked up and show you real quick. If I can, I don't know that I'm really going to be able to put my phone somewhere to show y'all, but I will try. We'll just put it there for now. And on some of the bikes, these are going to be a real bitch to get to. So I will, the trick that I learned, and I use a long pair of needle nose to pull these off. You're going to need to get maybe some angled ones and break them loose first if it's the first time doing the throttle body adjustment. and then get them off. Don't lose them. But when you go back on, if they're a bit, sometimes it's hard to get your hands in there, like on my buddy's R6 it was. So what you do is if you can get it with a pair of angled needle nose pliers, maybe they're angled, maybe they're not, put a dab of Vaseline, petroleum jelly on there, get it to where it goes, get it to the edge of it, and then push it on with this, and that Vaseline will help it slide on. And then you're good. And then next time you take it off, it's nice and lubed up. And I just dropped one of these, so now I gotta find it. Some bitch. There it is. Okay. So let's see what time it is. Okay, it's 9:25. I'm gonna show this and then I'm gonna close out the live stream because I gotta get in bed tonight because I'm tired as fuck. And I'm not gonna start it up tonight just yet because I gotta bleed the cooling system and do all that. So here we go now. Got all the hoses on. 1, 2. No, wait. 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And then we're just going to connect number 1 in here. Like that. This digital tool is really nice and easy. Just pop them on. 2 is there. 3 is there. And you can change your unit of measurement, but the unit of measurement is not all that important, just so much as it's important to get the numbers roughly even. So don't pay, because when we did my buddy's R6, they said spec was 20. It's not inches of mercury. Because that's way too much. It was like millimeters of vacuum or something was the unit of measurement. They said get it to 20. Well, his was at 50. All of them were at 50. And it was running perfectly fine. So don't fuck with it. If you see some arbitrary specification on the internet, but all of the numbers on the throttle bodies are roughly even, just adjust them to that number. If they're all roughly at 50, but a little bit off, just get them to 50. Don't bother trying to get it down to 20 because it's a whole lot of work and you risk messing something up. It's just always a possibility. So when you start it up, you'll have all the numbers there. Once you get the engine, so you'll put, this is the pain in the ass part. So you have to get this up here. Yeah, no go. Exactly. Just get them all as even as they can get. You don't worry about, don't get hung up on a specific number you're trying to get to. So you'll route these out of the way. Typically I put this up here somewhere, and then you're going to take the air box, put the air box on it, put your fuel tank on it, connect it all, have something propping the fuel tank up, but you need the air box completely connected properly, and nothing unplugged. Otherwise, the vacuum readings are going to be off. So it needs to be connected and running as if the bike was on the road, but just at idle, obviously. And then start it up, get it up to operating temperature, check your numbers, use those screws, those screw ports down there I showed you. Get 1 and 2 together, get 3 and 4 together. And then if you have a center screw, use the center screw to sync the 2 banks, quote unquote. This is not really 2 banks. This is a single bank. If you had a V4, you would have 2 banks, or you had a V engine, you would have 2 banks, but this is an inline. So it's 1 bank, but quote unquote 2 banks. 1 and 2, because these operate as a pair and these operate as a pair. And that's really all there is to it. And then once you're pulling even vacuum, shut it off, pull these off, put your caps back on. And like I said, if it's difficult to get to, put a little bit of Vaseline on the end of the rubber cap and use your long needle nose pliers to push them on if it's difficult to get to. That's a trick that's always worked for me. And that's all there is to it. So next time I will fill the cooling system up, bleed it, do the throttle body sync, and then that will be the end of this valve adjustment series. I'm not going to show putting the fairings back on unless I just get bored and want to boot up the live stream while I do it, but it's not going to be part of the repair live stream series. That's all pretty standard stuff, just, putting fairings on and whatnot. So that's really all I got. This thing's a bitch to turn off. Sometimes it doesn't want to, and I got to pull the battery out of it. See, look at that. It just wants to change units. Looks like still have a fuel line off. Yeah, that's for the secondary fuel injectors are on top of the airbox. That fuel line connects there. This one connects to the tank. And then these connectors are for the secondary fuel injectors. And that's going to be put on. I'll put the airbox on. Let's see if I can. Nope, I'm going to have to pull the battery out like usual. I did want to show one thing, though. Oh, Maddie was talking about her little 250. Her little 250's right over here. Yeah, here's the secondary fuel injectors. There's the line. See the injectors in there. And close that up. But I also did want to show y'all I finished the camera install on the Gixxer. Check this out. The other camera. Show y'all. I don't know if y'all can see that. There's the other camera up there. And this thing has got it all wired in nice and cleanly. It like when you go wide open like secondary carbs. Yeah, when you get above 8,000 RPMs is when those secondary injectors kick in. But I got everything wired on this thing nice and neatly. I got it clamped to the mirror there. It's pretty solid. And this is a universal thing. This is the control switch. It's supposed to mount on the handlebars, but this is a sport bike, so I don't really. And this is meant to mount on the handlebars too, but I mounted it on the mirror. And this is a dash cam, so it records front and rear. Maddie, shh. We don't talk about that. And then you can go back home. And my plan is to just leave it on the rear view camera most of the time. And it has a pretty wide angle. So you can see I'm sitting right here, and you can see my jacket on the chair right there. That's right there. That's not far. That's not that far away. And then you can see all the way over past my Corvette, which is over there. So yeah, it's got a pretty nice wide angle on it. And yeah, I'm just reading the comments. Y'all are funny. Oh, and I also got this extra mirror right here. So we should be ready. We ready, boys? Oh, I love you too, Maddie. And it also has, let me go back home and show y'all what model vet. It's a 1999 C5 FRC fixed roof coupe. Only made like 2,000 of them, which rare doesn't necessarily mean valuable, but and it has CarPlay or Android Auto, so you can connect your phone to it, and then you can hook up GPS directions, so you can have your maps right here. And I mainly got this for the rear view camera and for the front and rear dash cams recording in case anything ever happens. So it records to an SD card. And what else does it have? Oh yeah, it has TPMS also. So it came with the little sensors. I have to put the TPM. I have to put the metal valve stems in the tires because the rubber valve stems will break off. So I don't have that until I do the metal valve stems, but that's also another cool feature with it. And at first I thought it was kind of ugly, but I don't know. I don't think it looks too bad. I kind of like it, but I need it for the functionality mainly. I got it just barely not touching the windscreen there. I got it clamped down pretty good, so I don't think it should move, but I don't think it looks that bad. Looks kind of cool. So, but it'll be a nice function. And I got the windshields put back in the new port, but the cover's over it right now. And I got to finish measuring the gap on the piston rings on the 351, and then it's all done. At least the bottom end, measuring the bottom end is done. It spins so nicely. And then just comes building it later. So, oh yeah, I also wanted to show you all this. Check this out. Check this out. This is my favorite part. Right? Right? Headlights go off. Taillights go off. Running in dark mode, but your brights still work. Headlights back on, taillights back on. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Yep, stealth mode, yes sir. Alrighty guys, so this is what I mean. Shh, Maddie, stop. Yes, brake lights go out too. So I interrupted the common ground. I interrupted the common ground switch, not ground switch, ground wire that controls that whole LED assembly. Brake lights. Now, and the phone falls. So, okay, so taillights are on. Brake lights. Turn taillights off. I'm pressing the brakes, no brake lights. I interrupted the main ground for that whole LED assembly. So that completely kills everything. All right, anyway, guys, I got to get in bed. I got to go eat and then get in bed. I got to get some sleep because I did not sleep very well last night. But anyway, next live stream, going to be finishing this up. And then maybe if I'm bored, I'll start another live stream of putting the fairings on. I'm sure this won't be the last time I do these do the repair live stream because some of y'all seem to like it and it's fun for me. So I'll probably do it again. But anyway, that's it. Good night, everyone. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.